Thank you so much and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say my high appreciation goes to the faculty, teacher, lecturer, and staff to the University of Kerala, India. Uh, Today, I'm going to share about one of my part of dissertation and then my ongoing research funded by the Ministry of Indonesia Education and Culture of Indonesia, analyzing the knowledge of student and instructional design. That's R&D, research and development model approach on education. Uh, I think uh, those these picture uh, are sometimes we find in our class in online and offline environment that because of many teachers, especially in Indonesia, based on some research we did, they just teach without knowing their student needs. In this case, they don't think about what suitable technique, strategy, approach, material should be applied uh, to their students. Let me look before we come this picture. We are now in education 4.0, where in education 1.0, the purpose of education was teacher center. And then in education 2.0, that was the learner as a receptacle of knowledge. And then in education 3.0, we are as a teacher and then also as a facilitator. When a teacher can lead the student accessing global expertise and then social networking, doing the collaboration with another student, another teacher, and also school around the world. And then PBL, we have project and inquire based learning. And then also we can do the collaborative and interactive by using web, tool, Wikipedia, blog. In Indonesia, as we still remember it, it was applied around 2000 until 2000 and 2000 until 2010, I think. And then now in education 4.0, a learner as connector, creator, and constructivist, where the learner can access, can open the information individually, and then they uh, uh, can make a connection maker, and then the learner as a content producer and sharer, and then the web as the curriculum. The learner can access, can touch the expert directly, and then the learner as a teacher. But we are as educator just the resource guide. This is the main purpose in for the four phase of education that we have pass in every phase of time. So what we'll cover today, the first one, let me show you about the knowledge of the student. in this case the egg, multiple intelligence, and some potential career, and then some theoretical term, model and instructional design, and then educational research and development or research-based development, and the last one is some instructional design methodologies. So let me come to the guideline for designing effective teaching material. There are some consideration based on some theory here. The first consideration is the learner itself. Before we designing the effective teaching material in our classroom, especially in education, we have to consider what the learner needs. In this case, target needs and learning needs. And then the next one is knowledge about the learner. Here, I highlighted and then explained in the previous show in the previous slide. That's about the eight multiple intelligence and the some potential career. We designing the effective teaching material based on the student interest. So this is based on the Howard Gardner theory that Howard Gardner explained there are eight multiple intelligence that every student has or everybody has. And then we have to consider about their experiences, the first language, level of literacy, aspiration, interest, and purpose. And then the other consideration is the curriculum and the context. Here about the value to be taught, goal and objective. And in other hand, the resource and the facility is the third consideration, where the teacher must be realistic, access to resource will impact on decision in the material design. And then the personal confidence and competence. We have to now the teacher knowledge, their experience, attitude, how to use guideline correctly, or the teacher professionalism. And then the last one is copyright compliance, restriction, implementation, and awareness. And the last one is the time. How much time need to share the material, and then how much time need working in team, and then how much time to organize the material. Here, the six factor that should be considered in designing effective teaching material. So why the multiple intelligence theory? Uh, this opinion comes from the Howard Gardner, where each person has a type of intelligence. Also, in 20s, some opinion comes that we have eight, nine intelligence. That's a spiritual intelligence, but the Howard Gardner still stand, but each person has the eight type of intelligence, and then they are developed to be different degree. They are potential capability that everyone can activate by doing variety activity, and the level of their development depends on the chance available in the specific culture or on decision taken by people, their family or teacher. And then Horgan showed that one intelligence is multidimensional, dynamic, and then it's not only about the logical and linguistic comprehension which you usually test at school. And then our task here as educator and teacher is to help students develop each intelligence and also to find out what kind of activity make their learning easier and more enjoyable here. So the question is how to now their uh, 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 suitable material or suitable technique, suitable strategy that can make them easiest to learn or to join our class, and then our class most enjoyable that they feel. So here the some intelligence area, and also in the in what they strong in, likes to learn best through, and the famous people, and then the potential career. Just give an example in the area or smart, where exactly they will strong in reading, writing, telling story, memorizing dates, thinking word, and then they learn best through reading, hearing, seeing the words, speaking, writing, discussing, debating. And then some potential career, if yeah, if we observe our student, we can they are potential in this area. We can suggest them to choose the possible career after graduated from a bachelor degree, to be or in a sunny high school, and then to choose the suitable department that can support their intelligence area, uh, to be, for example, in this area word smart. We can suggest them to be a translator, public relation, reporter, teacher, historian, and librarian. So the next slide is some basic theoretical thumb, a model and instructional design. Uh, Here, the function of the research first, based on Professor Sugiono, that's the very famous author of educational research in Indonesia. Uh, uh, the function of research is divided into three. The first one, we research because we need to do. We research because we need to know. And then we research because we need to choose. The research method in need to do are uh, research in development, action research, operational research, and then the mixed method. And then in need to do, the research method are survey, experiment, qualitative, and mix. And then in need to choose, research method are formative evaluation research, and then summative evaluation research. So in research development, especially in education, we have four levels. In the levels one, we are researching without testing. Here, doing the research, we do the research, but it is not continue by making product and not continuing field tests. In this case, the research carry out only produce a product design, and the design is validated internally. We invite some expert or practitioner opinion, but not produced or not tested externally. We don't have field testing in this level of research in development. And then the second level is we not researching but testing. At this level, research that doesn't make a product design through research, but only we validate or test the effectiveness and efficiency of existing product. And then in the third level is research and test to develop existing product. Here, researching and testing to develop existing product, as has been argued, that R&D, which is developmental, is to improve existing ones, but in terms of form and the function. And the last one is we research and test to create a product that doesn't exist yet. Here, the highest level of R&D or research in development in education. Creating new product mean creating that we have at new at a value that never exists. And then original mean here no one else made it. And then tested here means that product has been empirically proven its quality through various field of the test. Let me show you the some conceptual framework based on each level in this slide. In the level one, we come first from the potential and the problem, where we take the data from two sources here, the study of literature, and then some information gathering from the field, from some people, by distributing the questionnaire, or doing the interview with some student alumni, or some leader of department. And then after that, we analyze the two sources here, and then product design, and then we do this design validation, and then tested design internally. We don't have field test here. And then in level two, we come first from the certain product, and then study of literature, and then we have three phases of testing stage one, and then after that we analyze, we compare to the testing stage three, and then in testing stage two and three, and then test result, and then we compare the result of the test to the standard or the certain product, and then we make the conclusion. In level three, we come first from the research on existing product, where we analyze from the two sources here, the study of literature and the field research, and then we do the we do the product development planning, and then we have internal design testing, design revision, product manufacture, and then a limited trial, just in the scope of, for example, in my university. And then we have product revision one, and then we have a main field trial, product revision two, operational field trial, and then product revision three, and then the last we have also dissemination and implementation. So the last level is the fourth level here. Uh, that's almost the same with the third level, but the difference here is in the level four, we come first from the potential and the problem. That's different with the level three, where in the level three, in the first stage is research on existing product, and then in the level four, the first thing is the potential and the problem. So what is the definition of model itself? Model imply a representation of reality presented with a degree of structure and order, and model are typically idealized and a simplified view of reality. There are two kind of models. They are micromorph and then paramorph. Micromorph, that's about the physical and visual, and then paramorph is about the verbal description. And then the paramorph can be categorized as either conceptual and model, procedural model, and mathematical model. The conceptual model is about more abstract than theory, and then the procedural model is step by step, and then mathematical model is about the equation. We describe the relationship between various component of a situation. And then design, it's come from the Latin designare. There be the mean of drawing and drafting. Accordingly, a design can be defined as in dual form and the functional representation of any community of object of utility. Correspondingly, we have to distinguish between design as a draft, plan, and or blueprint, and design as forming, composing, and modeling of an object of utility. And what is the instructional design itself? Instructional design is commonly defined as a systematic procedure in which educational and training programs are developed and composed, aiming at a substantial improvement of learning. Base Razor and DevSafe 2007. And then here's the general strategy of instructional design, where we have three components here. The first one is organizational strategy, where concerned with both the growth and the title planning of setting and teaching and learning in order to determine how a course of lessons should be arranged and sequenced. And then delivery strategy here concerned with decision on how information can be transmitted to the target group or learner. And then the last strategy is execution strategy that concerned with decision on method to assist the learner to deal effectively with instructional material. Here, some educational research development or research-based development. Educational research development, R&D or research-based development, is a process used to develop and validate educational product based on Borg and Goal in 1983. And then another definition comes from Goal in 2007, that research in development is industry-based development model in which the finding of the research are used to design a new product, and also has the procedure which then are systematically evaluated and refined in field, and also tested until they meet specified criteria of effectiveness, quality, or similar standard. And then the third, still based on GAE, but in the newest edition in 2009, R&D is the process of researching consumer needs and then developing product to fulfill those needs. So the educational product here, training material, learning material, media material, and management system. And then the last uh, uh, research and development, that the systematic activity combining both basic and applied research, and aim at discovering solution to problem or creating new goods and knowledge. So here some instructional design methodology. Here, the general view on the major component of instructional design based on a cell, where most of the model of in instructional designs come from analyzing of the target group. We we have need analysis, and then we have task analysis. In task analysis, we analyze the curriculum. In need analysis, we analyze the student and also the resources, and then also about the organization. And then in the process, we have designing the objective, construct the learning tasks, delivery, preparing the lesson plan. In this case, how to deliver the system, and then the teaching strategy. And then after that, in the next page, we have implementation. And then the last, we have evaluation. In this case, formative evaluation or summative summative evaluation. Here, the basic simple explanation about instructional design in the title of dissertation, or some of my research in Assure. Assure is one of the example of instructional design model in R&D. Assure stand for analyze, state objective, select instructional method, media and material, utilize media and material, require learner participant, and evaluate and revise. Where, for example, the title of this research is bilingual based material of English for educational technology. So in the first phase, we have to analyze the learner itself. So in this case, we have need analysis. Need analysis. There are main theory, especially in language acquisition, about uh, uh, the component in analyze the learner. So one of the very famous theory comes from Hutchinson and Water in 1987, where need analysis, where the classify needs is the target group, where what the student need to be able to communicate in the target situation, and then learning needs is what student need to learn. So here, further the target needs subdivided into necessity. Necessity is the aspect of language that the student need. For example, the student must answer the exam orally, and then the luck here, what student has not mastered. For example, the aspect of writing that student have not been in English with when compared with procedure written in Indonesia, for example, in my context. And then one here is what would be learned by the student. And then in the process of development here, is the preparation, where we state the objective, and then we select the suitable instructional method or media and material based on the need analysis. And then in implementation here, cover the delivery or the use of the product for the application development in the learning process that has been designed in such a way at the design stage, where here we have utilized media and material required learning participant, and then we have try out, and then evaluate, and then revise, and the last phase is dissemination and implementation. And exactly we have the product, because in this section I researched uh, uh, in the level in the fourth level of R&D, especially in education. So another model of instructional design comes from Dick Carey. Dick Carey here, almost the same model, come first from assess need to identify the goal, and then we conduct instructional analysis, and then we analyze learner and context, and then after combining the two sources here, we write the performance objective, and then we develop assessment instruction, and then we develop instructional strategy, we develop and select instructional material, and then we design and conduct formative evaluation instruction, and we come back to have a revised instruction in the pace of develop assessment instruction, and then go until the last one is design and conduct the summative evaluation. Another model is the three phases of Gani 9 event of instruction, where the 9 here, the first gain intention, gay attention. Gay attention is we introduce stimulus to elicit curiosity, and then inform learner of the objective, describe the expected performance, and stimulate prerequisite recall the concept and the rule, and then present learning material. Here, present example of the concept and rule, and then provide guidance of for learning, electricity performance, provide feedback, assess performance, and then the last, enhance retention and transfer. Here, we provide a variety to other application. Another model is Roswell Casanas ID model. where here we have some phases that some instructional activity where in the first phase we have to conduct a needs assessment, and then assess a relevant learner characteristic. We define the target group, assess their knowledge, skill, attitude, and how they will affect learning and application of new skill. And then we analyze factor in a workplace setting, performance analysis of job, tasks, and content, and then write statement of performance objective, develop performance measurement, sequence performance objective, and specify instructional strategy, and design instruction material. And the last, we have evaluate instruction. Uh, the next model is the Smith Rajan model of instructional design. We have three phases: analyze. Analysis here cover learning environment, learner, and learning tasks. And then the next phase is strategy, where determine we have to determine the three component that in the previous slide I explained the general strategy in instructional design, where organizational strategy, delivery strategy, and management strategy. And then the last, we have conduct formative evaluation, and if we have still some possible revision, so we come back to in the first page in analysis. So the next is Diamond's model of instructional design in higher education. This is very suitable to do the research of research development, especially in higher education. For this model, we have two phases. In the phase one, called project selection and design, and then in phase two, we call production, implementation, and evaluation for each unit. Where in the phase two, we determine the objective after analyze the student basic planning input, and then project specific factor. The next one is ARCS model. A stand for attention, arouse learner curiosity and interest. R stand for relevance, related to learner experience and needs. Material must matter to them. And then C is score for learner success of meaningful tasks. And then satisfaction is build learner sense of reinforcement and achievement. And the very famous model of research in development is AD framework. AD stands for analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. So there are some key questions within the AD framework. The first, who target group of the learner, what content to be taught or learned, what for of instructional goal and learning objective, and then why talking about the accountability or need analysis, and then how instructional strategy and method, and then when this is about the timeline and instruction, and then where the venue of the learning environment. Here the common instruction design procedure organized by Eddie, where in the concept in analyze, we have to identify the probable cause of the performance gap. In designing, we verify and design performance and appropriate testing method, generate and validate the learning resource, preparing learning environment, and engage the student, and we assess the quality of the instructional procedure. And then some common procedure here. So in analyze, we analyze the summary and then design the brief, learning resource, implementation strategy in implement, and then in evaluate, we have evaluation plan to do the procedure in any method. Here some comparison between the diamond ID model in the previous slide, where in ID model we have five phase here: analyze, design, develop, implementation, and evaluate. But in diamond model we have only two phase, where in the phase one we have project selection design, and then phase two production design and evaluation. And the last one is as a conclusion, come from the goal Josenborg 2007. Here, step of system approach model of educational research and development. Uh, we have 10, actually in general we have 10 step in research and development, where in step one we have to identify the instruction of the goal, where we have to conduct the instructional analysis, and then analyze the learner and the context. After that, we conclude after we combine the two sources here in step one and step three. So we write proposals of the objective, and then we develop assessment instrument, and then move to the step six, develop instructional strategy, and develop and select instructional material. And then in the last phase here, in the last one here, is design and conduct formative and evaluation of instruction. And then if still based on the result of the formative, we still have some suggestions, some corrections, so we need to revise. So we move to in the step two, or just in step four, until in the step move to step 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one is design and conduct the summative evaluation. I think that's enough for my sharing today. Thank you so much, and I back to the moderator. Thank you.